Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted for a second time and will face charges brought by the US Department of Justice. Multiple sources told the BBC's US partner CBS News the specific charges are not known, but the sources said they relate to an image Comey briefly shared on Instagram last year that showed seashells forming the numbers 8647.
Nepali mountaineers have cleared a route past a huge chunk of ice on Mount Everest that has blocked climbers from moving up past base camp for 2 weeks. Ram Krishna Lamishain, Nepal's Director General of Tourism, told the BBC that icefall doctors had now fixed ropes up to Camp 2, located at roughly 6,400 to 6,500 meters, 21,000 to 21,325 feet high.
And the United Arab Emirates. UAE is quitting the OPEC and OPEC Plus groups of major oil-producing nations next month after nearly 60 years of membership. The UAE said its decision would help it meet growing global energy demand in the long term after recent investments to boost its production capacity.
The United Arab Emirates has announced its withdrawal from OPEC and the wider OPEC Plus framework, removing a core pillar of one of the most influential groups in the energy world, the Gulf country, with a capacity of approximately 4.8 million barrels per day and significant room to increase output, announced on Tuesday that it would quit the organization to focus on national interests.
And Mali's military leader, Assimi Goïta, has met the Russian ambassador to the East African country. According to his office, Goïta's office published photos of the meeting on Tuesday in what was his first public appearance since rebel attacks over the weekend that killed one of his ministers.
Google has granted the US Department of Defense access to its AI for classified networks, essentially allowing all lawful uses, according to multiple news reports. This deal follows Anthropic's public stand against the Trump administration after the model maker refused to grant the DoD the same terms. The Pentagon wanted unrestricted use of AI, whereas Anthropic wanted guardrails to prevent its AI from being used for domestic mass surveillance and autonomous weapons.
Match Group, the dating app behemoth that owns Match, Tinder, OkCupid and Hinge, says that it has invested $100 million in yet another mobile service designed to bring people together, a Grindr competitor known as Sneffies. The website for Sniffies sports various images of men in their underwear. That tells you pretty much all you need to know about the app, which is a self-proclaimed cruising or hookup matching service for gay men. The app includes what it calls a real-time, fully interactive map of nearby cruisers and popular local cruising spots.
Amazon launched a new AI-powered feature on Tuesday that allows users to ask questions about products and receive conversational audio responses generated in real time. The responses are delivered by what the company calls AI-powered shopping experts, which present information in a natural discussion-style format. The new Join the Chat feature aims to save customers time by providing key product details without requiring them to scroll through lengthy descriptions or reviews. The AI pulls together insights about product features, customer feedback, and other relevant information. For example, shoppers can ask questions like whether a coffee maker is suited for beginners or whether a sweater feels itchy based on customer reviews.
SpaceX's board approved a compensation plan for founder Elon Musk with goals as futuristic and celestial as the company's ambitions, colonizing Mars and running data centers in outer space. The details of Musk's sweeping pay package were revealed in the company confidential registration statement filed in recent weeks with the Securities and Exchange Commission and have been reviewed by Reuters. Islamabad. Health Minister Mustafa Kamal on Tuesday said Pakistan currently had 84,000 registered HIV cases, while no case had been reported from Townsa this year. Townsa, a city in Punjab, has been in the headlines in recent days after an investigation by BBC revealed that serious malpractices in the children's ward of a government hospital there continued months after the facility was linked to an outbreak of HIV among children. Bosnia and Herzegovina has signed a deal to construct a gas pipeline that is backed by investors connected to United States President Donald Trump and promises to reduce the country's dependence on Russian supply. The agreement, signed with neighbouring Croatia on Tuesday at a summit in the city of Dubrovnik, aims to relieve Sarajevo of its reliance on Russian gas, which it needs to do in advance of a European Union ban on energy purchases from Moscow set to take effect next year.
Last year, WhatsApp and Apple notified several people in Italy, including journalists and activists, that they had been targeted with government spyware. In particular, WhatsApp pointed the finger at the Israeli-American surveillance tech maker Paragon Solutions as the company that provided the technology for a hacking campaign that targeted around 90 people around the world with its graphite spyware. The notifications prompted a scandal in Italy that is still unfolding. After being notified of the attacks, a number of victims filed criminal complaints with Italian authorities, and prosecutors then opened an investigation.
And remittance inflows will jump significantly to $50 billion from the current level of around $38 billion when cryptocurrencies are legalized and properly regulated in Pakistan. And chairman of the Exchange Companies Association of Pakistan, Malik Boston, said in a meeting today, Zafar Paracha, Sheikh Sajid Hussain, Syed Zohaib, and chairman Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, Pivra Bilal bin Saqib, and other stakeholders from the exchange company sector attended this meeting.
The Federal Directorate of Education, FDE, has launched an online admission portal for the academic session 2026-2027, making it publicly accessible for applicants seeking admission to institutions under the FDE. Officials said the portal has been introduced to streamline the admission process and provide a transparent and centralised platform for students and parents. The FDE said the system allows applicants to check real-time seat availability and view merit lists for various classes and schools. The Capital Development Authority, CDA, has reinstated 18 officers who were removed during the tenure of former Chairman Chaudhry Muhammad Ali Randawar. These officers, earlier transferred to the Human Resource Development (HRD) department, have now been posted back to their original positions or reassigned to new roles across various departments.
The Strait of Hormuz remains in effect closed with a US naval blockade still in place. About 3,000 Iran-bound containers are stranded in Pakistan as costs rise and Washington's signals shift. Iran is pushing diplomacy from Moscow to Islamabad. Can talks to end the US-Israel war still move forward? In this episode,
Australia is getting serious about making big tech pay for news. The country's government unveiled draft legislation on Tuesday that would require companies like Meta, Google and TikTok to pay for the journalism they aggregate or reshare or face a levy on their local revenues, Communications Minister Anika Wells said at a press conference today. People are increasingly getting their news directly from Facebook, from TikTok and from Google. The US Supreme Court on Monday heard arguments in a landmark legal case that could redefine digital privacy rights for people across the United States. The case, Chatri v. United States, centres on the government's controversial use of so-called geofence search warrants. Law enforcement and federal agents use these warrants to compel tech companies like Google to turn over information about which of its billions of users were in a certain place and time based on their phone's location.
and the large taxpayer unit, LTU Islamabad of the Federal Board of Revenue, FBR, on Tuesday carried out a raid at the offices of Top City Housing Society, seizing important records over alleged tax evasion and financial irregularities. And sources informed pro-Pakistani that the action was conducted under Section 175 of the Income Tax Ordinance 2001, which authorises tax officials to enter business premises, inspect financial records, and confiscate documents where there are reasonable grounds to suspect tax evasion or non-compliance. And the Foreign Office FO said on Tuesday that Cambodian authorities had agreed on the early repatriation of 54 Pakistanis arrested following a raid on a scamming compound. The statement came after reports emerged that more than 200 Pakistanis were in the custody of Cambodian police in overcrowded facilities and facing a lack of basic facilities. And Belarus has released Polish-Belarusian journalist Andrzej Poczobut from jail as part of a prisoner exchange. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk confirmed the release on Tuesday, noting that Warsaw had been helped in a joint diplomatic push on Minsk by the United States, Romania and Moldova.
Mail, Maldives. Police in the Maldives have raided the offices of a critical news outlet and barred its editors from leaving the country after it published a documentary alleging an affair between President Mohamed Muizzu and a former aide. The government on Tuesday defended the operation against Adhardu Online as a lawful response to what Muizzu has described as baseless lies.
A football match official who was a potential pick to work at the Men's World Cup in North America was arrested for an alleged sexual assault at a hotel while in Britain for a game. World Cup organizer FIFA said on Tuesday that it was aware of the serious allegation after details of an alleged assault of a teenage boy were first reported by British daily The Sun.
Gulf leaders have gathered in Saudi Arabia to discuss a regional crisis triggered by the United States-Israel war on Iran, their first in-person meeting since the outbreak of the conflict 2 months ago. The Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC leaders, were greeted by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as they arrived in Jeddah on Tuesday, according to images released by Saudi state media.
When Chris Gray sold his Shark Tank-backed scholarship search startup Sholly to Sallie Mae in 2023, he thought he had it all. Now he's suing the student loan giant for wrongful termination and alleging that it's selling the data his app collected, which includes personal info on minors without properly informing users. Gray co-founded the company a decade prior with the hope of helping students more easily find college scholarships that were going untapped. Within 2 years, he nabbed Sharks Damon John and Laurie Greiner as investors after an appearance on the show. A major individual milestone was recorded during the Pakistan Super League PSL 2026 as one of the tournament's leading batters added another achievement to his record. Peshawar Zalmi captain Babar Azam completed 500 runs in the ongoing season during the qualifier match against Islamabad United.
And the Punjab government has expanded the Green School programme across the province, bringing more than 26,000 schools under its scope to promote environmental sustainability. According to Silwat Saeed, over 7.6 million students and teachers have been registered under the initiative, marking a major step towards embedding environmental awareness in the education system. And employees of the University of Peshawar staged a protest on Monday over non-payment of salaries and pensions for March, highlighting a deepening financial crisis at the institution. A large number of workers blocked Jamrud Road outside the campus, chanting slogans against the provincial government and university administration.
Engro Polymer and Chemicals Limited has appointed a new chairman and chief executive officer following its annual general meeting. In a notice to the Pakistan Stock Exchange, the company said Ahsan Zafar Syed has been appointed as chairman of the board, while Abdul Qayyum has been named chief executive officer.